hold up, we got 5 disturbing home security hackings. I ain't gonna lie, we don't look like booty hair, but the thing about this is, I haven't reacted to none of these disturbing things in a long ass time. So we gonna see what's going on with this. I'm not gonna lie. We gonna press the like button, showing scared, shout at y'all, you know. Don't copyright me, you know, like don't do that. I fuck with you. Type shit, come on, let's do it.
January 20, 2019, 29-year-old Arjun Sood and his wife Jessica put their 7-month-old son Oliver to bed in his nursery.
That nigga look like I am not trying to be here with his family, bro. Look at that nigga.
Sood and his wife Jessica put their
He's
7-month-old
like, fuck
son
this
Oliver
bitch.
to bed in his nursery at Barrington, Illinois. What they didn't know was that someone else was already in the room with them. It was getting late and Arjun had work in the morning. Like many busy parents, Arjun had set up a Nest baby monitor to check in on Oliver from his phone without getting out of bed. The Nest thermostat was set to 72 so the room would stay comfortable through the night.
Okay.
Arjun had spent roughly $4,000 outfitting the house with Nest products over the years. 17 cameras placed throughout the home and around the exterior with 2 smart thermostats and a full security system.
That nigga he's building his fucking piece. And for a person to come out of their way and disrupt his peace with his family, that's fucking insane. That should be insane. And that's his baby in there. Nigga, his baby. That's fucking insane.
The technology and clearly trusted it enough to build much of his home security around it. But shortly after putting Oliver down, Arjun was standing in the hallway outside the nursery when he heard something from inside the room.
Fuck you mean?
It sounded like a deep male voice speaking directly to his son through the camera's speaker.
Oh, fuck no.
The room, but no one was there. He thought maybe it was just an interference with the baby monitor. Stuff like this isn't new, and many...
Junior, get down! Oh God, I'm about to start hitting that motherfucker, boy. Away. You talk about so you outside the door, bro. Look at this. No, hell no. You talk about no, hell no. You said old bed, nigga. Junior, get down. Type, you feel me? No. Did I say no? Why the fuck did he just do that?
They brought Oliver downstairs. On the way down, Jessica noticed he was extremely distressed and sweating through his clothes. And
wait, go back. He said, what the fuck happened after he heard the nigga inside the room?
It's an interference with the baby monitor. Stuff like this isn't new, and many electronic devices can pick up distortion of some kind. Still, to be safe, they brought Oliver downstairs. On the way
okay, so he ain't see shit in there.
Down, Jessica noticed he was extremely distressed and sweating through his clothes, and when she glanced at the thermostat, the temperature had been cranked up to a dangerous 90 degrees. But
nigga try to kill your son.
Before they could process what was happening, the voice came back. This time it was coming through a different Nest camera downstairs in the living area, and it was speaking directly to them. The voice was cursing, hurling racial slurs, and taunting them in real time as it watched them through the live feed.
So that's dangerous, fuck. So that Nest thing got hacked or something, and the dude on there tried to kill your son. 90 degrees for a baby, that's dangerous, ain't it? That's like, am I tripping y'all? Like 90 degrees for a damn infant? That's like deadly, right? Cause it's like it can't breathe. I might be tripping though.
Directly at the lens, the voice asked, "Why are you looking at me? I see you watching me." At that point, Arjun realized someone had hacked into their Nest account, which he used to control every camera, thermostat, and every inch of the security system he had spent thousands of dollars building to protect his family. Arjun's first instinct was to yell back at the camera, but he composed himself and started questioning the intruder through the two-way audio.
Yes, I'm here. Come.
I know you're here. Who are you?
He tried to extract information on the hacker's whereabouts.
Wait, so is this actually the dude that actually had a situation going on with him?
Country they were from.
Who is this?
Makes sense he had Nest cameras, but you know.
Are you just sitting at your computer there? Into my account? Where are you? Which country?
The hacker went quiet without identifying himself or explaining why he had done any of it.
Yeah, no, that's fucking dangerous. You better uninstall all those things. Anything that can change your temperature and people are hacking into it, and it can change your baby room no.
Be a man. Speak up. Nothing? Nothing to say?
He logged out.
The couple disconnected their interior camera in the house and called both the police and Nest customer support. Nest responded by putting the blame on Arjun. They told him the hack had happened because he had reused a password from another site that had been breached, and because he hadn't enabled two-factor authentication, a feature Arjun didn't even know existed. Now, technically they did have a point. Reusing passwords is a real security risk, and two-factor authentication probably would have stopped this. But digging deeper into this, I found the Sood family weren't the only victims attacked through Nest devices.
Multiple?
After researching similar incidents, a dozen more cases just
absolutely scary.
For example, on the same day the Soods were dealing with their hacker, January 20, 2019, a family in Orinda, California had a fake ballistic missile attack warning come blasting through their Nest camera, telling them 3 nuclear missiles were heading for Los Angeles, Chicago, and Ohio.
It came on.
That would be insanely scary.
Of an Amber Alert, say, and then a man's voice announced that North Korea had launched 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles toward the United States.
But low-key though, that would be fucking hilarious. No, that's not funny. Baby one not funny, right? But imagine that. Imagine seeing the motherfucker react when you say 5 nuclear missiles are coming to your exact location. Please survive. Like you just hang up. Like that shit be fucking insane.
From rug, thinking the country was under attack. And about a month earlier, December 17, 2018, parents in Houston woke to the haunting sound of a stranger's voice coming from their 4-month-old's nursery, threatening to kidnap their son and ordering them to turn off the bedroom lights.
He turned that camera on and told us, said, turn off the light, and then said, I'm going to kidnap your baby. I'm in your baby's room.
In every single case, Nest responded by blaming the customers. So why did this keep happening?
Why are you using
Nest
it?
had quietly added 2 factors.
Dang, people really out here really struggling. Cause I didn't know this was a big ass problem. You gotta really have to really protect your damn your people, your damn house like this. Shit, like I know you gotta protect your shit, right? But damn, like people over are hacking people junk just like this. Yeah, we do need. Yeah, that shit is crazy
Back in 2017
and dangerous,
and barely told anyone. Arjun didn't even know the feature existed because Nest never told him. It took until May 2020, well over a year after all of this happened, for the company to finally make it mandatory, which feels like a quiet admission that leaving the security entirely up to the customer was never the right call. But for Arjun, the scariest part wasn't about how the hacker got in. It was how Nest cameras gave no real warning when someone else was watching the feed. A handful of them had a small blue light, but it only switched on when the intruder started talking. A hacker could watch and listen for hours, and the family would never know. The only reason the Soods knew they'd been compromised was because the hacker chose to speak. In the end, the hacker
ain't no telling how long he been listening either.
Was never identified, and no arrest was ever made.
Watch your babies. Niggas are weird.
April 23, 2020, Shauna Dottie received a phone call from her home security company, ADT. They had called to tell her that for the last 6 years, every dollar she had paid them to keep her family safe had done the exact opposite. Back in 2014, Shauna and her husband Randy were living with their young son in the suburbs of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh, them niggas are happy as fuck. You see them shirts they got on? I'm his queen. I'm her queen. Like that's some like locked in shit. That nigga. Look at his glass. That nigga's happy as a motherfucker. I don't want no bad things to happen to this man.
And wanted the peace of mind to keep an eye on the house from anywhere.
You know, like
ADT's Pulse system with indoor cameras, motion alerts, and a cell phone app sounded like exactly what they were after. A few weeks after they placed the order, a technician from ADT showed up at their front door. He looked at the layout and mounted a wide-angle indoor camera that covered most of the ground floor, the family room, the entryway, the dining area, and the staircase. The lens also reached into the master bedroom and the corner of the bathroom. He watched Shauna through the app on her phone. Before he left, he told her he needed to add his own email to the account, only briefly to check if the connection was working. For the next 6 years, the system worked exactly the way it was supposed to, and the Dotties had no reason to think about that afternoon again, until they received that call from ADT on April 23rd, 2020. The employee calling told Shauna that the technician who had installed her camera back in 2014 had granted himself remote access to it on the installing day. That access was never removed. He had been using it to view footage from inside the Dotties' home ever since. When Shauna asked what he had been seeing, the employee had no answers. They couldn't name him and wouldn't say how many times he had logged in.
7 hours is a long time, but we're talking 7 years. You don't know what to think.
Yeah.
So you find yourself just trying to go back, like, okay, what were we doing this time?
Unfortunately,
and it's like, at that point, do you even want them anymore? I feel like, dang, at that point, it's like you fighting against people out here, and you fighting against the security of it. You fighting against the internet of people. It's like two different fights you fighting. I mean, this is not every situation, you know, but I ain't finna put it, like, people use security cameras down, but hell no. I honestly don't think you should even have to, I feel like you shouldn't have to have that shit in your house, though. In your house is a little too fucking far. In your house, hell no. I don't want no shit in my house. Like, no, I don't want it in my house. I have it outside my house. Cause sometimes you don't need to know what's going on every single second of the day. Now imagine if you sat here, you do every single thing that somebody was thinking, every single thing somebody did throughout their day. Sometimes you don't want to know what a motherfucker be doing. Sometimes you don't want to know, cause you don't know what a motherfucker, you know, because shit, 1 o'clock he got them warehouse. 3, 5, 10 o'clock, motherfuckers, you know, whole different individual, you know, you gotta just move, you gotta move tack.
The Donnies weren't the only family
Move
getting
tack.
an ADT
You
call.
can't.
They were one of...
And I think it's like, ain't it like breaching security? Like, you don't want your space? That's like space. Nah, I can get it if you live by yourself, though. By yourself is like, fucking, you know, like, I want to see my whole junk, you know? I can see by myself, for sure. I guess I could see what other people do, but it'd be a little weird. I wouldn't check them shits.
More than 200 plus. A few weeks earlier, another ADT customer in the Dallas-Fort Worth area was going through their Pulse account settings when they noticed an email attached to it that didn't belong to anyone in the house. Naturally, they called ADT to ask what it was doing there. When the company looked into it, they found that the same email was attached to 220 separate customer accounts across the metropolitan area. And every one of those systems had been installed or serviced by the same technician at some point. Which raised the obvious question.
Same
How does one
dude.
technician end up signed into 220 homes? The answer was buried in ADT's own software.
So what is this? Wait, do he be robbing them, or is he like just doing it for fun?
Technicians are allowed to temporarily attach their personal email to a customer's account during install.
Oh,
It's a
no.
diagnostic feature meant to verify the camera feed before they leave. So every time he serviced or installed a system, he either gave the same diagnostic excuse or didn't bother.
Do y'all think he did it on purpose? Do y'all think he just was like bullshitting? Like he think, what I mean is, do y'all think that he dead ass like knew he was doing this? He like, I'm finna go back at a later time and watch these niggas, or was it like okay, I just didn't want to do it and I just want to leave. I'm just like, every day it's my job. It's how I get money, you know. That could be another thing, but I don't think it's gonna be that way, you know. But I don't know what y'all think. What y'all think about the situation?
Explaining
200 is crazy. I feel like 200 is like too many, you know. I feel like that's like to a point. It feel like more so this nigga just wasn't doing the job, you know. The nigga just wasn't doing his job. He didn't want to do a job. That seemed excessive. You tell me this nigga was out here he was leaving this shit in 200 different motherfuckers every night. He was going through 200 different motherfuckers shit every night. I don't know. That don't sound right to me.
Moved his email, so the Pulse app on his personal phone kept him signed in as a co-owner of these homes. Now, some could argue this was just sloppy work. Forgetting to clean up after himself.
You know?
Once or twice, sure, but more than 200 times is not a coincidence. So how did this slip past ADT for so long?
I don't know, bro.
ADT didn't have any system in place to catch such a massive breach of privacy.
It's because, like, they probably wasn't thinking about no weird ass nigga, you know. There's some weird ass niggas out here. And, like, I feel like to a certain point, if a motherfucker ain't being necessarily weird and they're doing their job professionally, I don't think that would be such a big problem. Because why are you even going back to even check, you know? Because at some point, wouldn't they... Why is there... Well, I guess their work email, it would be their regular emails too, so they can just look at it any time, you know? I guess that could make sense also. But I just feel like, wouldn't it, like, cut the whole thing in half if they just made everybody go through one work email, and they ain't gotta, like... I don't know, that shit is weird to me, bro. Like, you gotta be on clock or something. Like, that would have nipped the shit in the bud right there. Niggas ain't thinking, though. But niggas are weird. Why would you think like that?
Never
you know?
alerted its customers and didn't even have an automated check flagging the same email showing up on dozens of accounts, which meant he could keep logging in whenever he wanted.
That shit is fucking insane.
In April 2016, the same technician installed a system at the home of a couple with 2 young daughters. The camera covered the living room
and when you got daughters, it's even fucking worse. Like, you can't be playing. Like, these are weird. Niggas are weird. Like, you can't even play. Like, bro, these niggas probably trying to be a happy little family. Like, bro, I'm just trying to protect my family, bro. Look at bro back there. He got no care in the world. Name one unhappy motherfucker. Name one unhappy male that got his feet crossed like that. Nigga, no, name one. Nobody. Niggas chilling.
Kitchen. Court records would later show he logged into that account 322 times. At another household, one where 5 children under the age of 18 lived, he logged in 361 times. In September 27th.
Oh, wait. I did not catch that part. He viewed. The other ones, he just left. The other dude left and stuff. But this one, he viewed these motherfuckers. He was actually viewing actively. Oh, shit. That's a whole different situation right there. That's a whole different situation. A whole different ballpark, even.
A pulse system for the Preddy family. Their teenage daughter Alexia wasn't comfortable with indoor cameras, and she told her mother this on the day of the installation. But the ADT technician assured them that the system was perfectly safe.
No. Why the fuck would you let him? Like, why would you want cameras inside your house when you got dark? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's another thing. Why would you want cameras inside your house? You know, but I can't. Okay, I can get like if yo, cause shit, it's some fast little motherfuckers out here. I can get that part. But at some point, it's like, like, you gotta do all that. That bitch gotta go. Like, shit, bro. Like, that's like a breach of trust if you need shit inside your house. That's like more of a breach of trust. Like, I don't trust these motherfuckers around me. That don't seem like I don't trust these motherfuckers inside my house. That's I don't trust everybody around me right now, you know?
Later, when the full scope of the breach came to
light, just me.
ADT found
that's a little overdoing it.
Family's live footage almost 100 times during the years Alexia was still a teenager. Court filings would later show the wide-angle lens and its placement allowed him to view her undressed, getting ready for bed, and during moments of physical intimacy. This technician was Telesforo Aviles. He was 35 years old, married, and the father of 5 children of his own. He'd been with ADT for 17 years, and by 2020 was working as a senior supervisor in the Dallas-Fort Worth region. On May 18, 2020, Shauna Dottie and Alexia Preddy each filed federal lawsuits against ADT, accusing the company of allowing Aviles to exploit its pulse system and spy on customers through their own home cameras.
Right.
Soon after, more lawsuits followed from other victims. In the federal case, Aviles admitted that he took note of households with women he found attractive and repeatedly targeted homes of young women and married couples with daughters. He would open the Pulse app on his personal phone, scroll through the list of homes attached to his email, and watch for live footage of any private moments. Across the 4.5 years covered by his federal plea agreement, prosecutors counted more than 9,600 unauthorized logins across roughly 200 accounts. That works out to 5 or 6 logins a day, every day, for over 4 years.
Twins, never that damn.
In January 2020,
now I've seen this sign before.
Months in federal prison that June. ADT had
secured by ADT,
all
but this shit happening
months earlier. But the only person who knew exactly what he had seen and in which homes was Aviles himself. On the evening of September 30, 2017, a young Dutch woman named Rilana Hamer came home from the supermarket and started unpacking her groceries.
But she saw
lived alone in a small house in Bremen, a quiet town in the eastern Netherlands, with her dog.
Because she needs cameras.
Bought a small indoor security camera from a local discount store for around 35 euros. It was a Maxter ACT IPC01, a white plastic unit.
Don't tell me this got hacked.
Rotate across the room. She set up the camera on a shelf in her living room, figuring it would be easy to check on her dog throughout the day. The camera also had a built-in speaker, which let her talk to the dog even when she wasn't home. That evening, she was putting her groceries away when she heard a low, mechanical voice from the living room. When she went to look, she saw the camera rotating on its base, slowly turning back and forth on its own. Her phone was the only thing she used to control it, and that was on her bed in the next room.
What the fuck?
Figuring it was just an updating glitch, she went back to the kitchen. But a few minutes later, the sound came back.
Fuck no.
This time, the camera turned and pointed directly.
Just open the area.
A man's voice came through the speaker. It said, "Bonjour, madam." Staying composed, Rilana asked who was there, but no one answered. To see if the voice would speak again,
Bonjour?
She moved to the side and noticed that the camera was following her. That's when the voice came through again, this time saying, "Hello, madam. Is everything all right?" She immediately ran across the room and pulled the plug from the socket.
No, it's not all right.
A friend came over for dinner.
How the fuck is my camera talking?
Told her what had happened, and the two of them decided to test the camera again. They placed it back on the table and plugged it in as Rilana held her phone to record. It took less than a minute before the camera rotated on its own and found her again.
Why do
Limited money
you?
makes it so you can get what you want from the game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, just get a gun. Like at this point, just get a gun. Nigga. If you fuck around and find somebody you gotta find, oh well. Cause this shit is too much. That's too much problem. That's what I don't like shit like that. Like I ain't scared motherfucker, but I don't like creepy shit. Fuck you doing that creepy shit for? No, don't do that creepy shit. That's creepy as fuck. Keep your creepiness over there. Far from the fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
What did you do?
It's ripping, boy. It's ripping.
Soon, the voice came back.
It's not. No. Get out of my house now.
Hell's going on?
Stop. Shut up of my house now. Go away. Hola, señorita. Yeah, you.
Rihanna posted the video on her Facebook account, where it went viral immediately. By the start of the next week, Dutch national news had picked up the story. When a tech journalist looked into Rihanna's video days later, the explanation turned out to be disturbingly simple. Every camera the manufacturer shipped came with the same default password, 123, along with the device ID printed on a sticker underneath each unit. With just those two things and the free app,
I'm wondering why I can't hear this shit, bro. My thing unplugged. My fault, y'all.
Watch the live feed,
y'all heard it though.
Listen through the microphone, and talk through the speaker. Looking up the manual for this camera, it does mention that the default password is weak and recommends changing it before use. But nowhere in the app itself, the thing you actually...
I don't like that sound in the background. Y'all hear that fucking little rattling, bro? I'm over here looking behind me and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, bro, you got me pause the video?
During setup, did it ever tell the users to do that? Few people read the full manual for a €35 camera from a discount store. You just download the app and start. So Rihanna never knew that she had to change the password. And she was far from the only one. When the tech journalist tried connecting to other cameras from the same manufacturer, he got into 4 unsuspecting households in minutes, using nothing but the manual and the free app. Each one of those people, just like Rihanna, had no idea anyone else was watching.
Whoa. That's just a regular thing. Niggas just watch it.
Nijum woke up in the middle of the night to heavy metal music playing at full volume through every speaker in her house. Confused and disoriented, she didn't know how it had turned on. And despite her trying, the volume level didn't go down, as if someone else was controlling the sound system.
That's some exorcist shit.
There was no one home except her that night.
That big ass long
Ariel was a
TV.
Canadian fashion model who had spent most of her adult life around cameras. She had walked at the Berlin Film Festival in the mid-2000s and built a career where she was looked at on her own terms. By her late 30s, she was in a long-term relationship with a partner who lived in the States. He was, in her words, quietly controlling. According to her, he wouldn't just touch base with a text, he would call me on FaceTime and ask to say hi to the person I was with. At the time, she thought it was attentiveness, and she trusted him enough that she eventually moved into his home in the US. It was an impressively designed house with a high-tech smart home system which covered everything on the property, from lights, heating, blinds, security cameras to
That's
the sound
fire.
system.
But this type of stuff is only fire when you by yourself also, like I said.
Ran through a single integrated platform her partner had set up. For someone who'd spent her career around cameras and production sets, living with so much technology around didn't feel unusual. But sometime during the 2010s, the relationship started to fall apart. Her partner moved to a different city, while Fariel stayed behind in his house, with his credentials still running everything around her. And that's when things started getting strange. She'd fall asleep at a normal hour and get jolted awake by sound blasting through every room.
You're asleep in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, over the sound system, comes this blaring music.
Is that his way of saying I want you to go?
Throws you awake. That's what would happen to me.
By the time she was on her feet, it would cut out just as suddenly as it had started, and she'd be left standing in a dark, silent house with no explanation. Soon enough, the lights started to behave in a similar way. She'd switch them off for bed, and they'd flick back on, sometimes flickering for several seconds before stabilizing. She would experience the same with her TVs, which would switch on by themselves and shut back off as soon as she got near the remote. At first, she tried telling herself it was just the system acting up. It was a big house, and every inch of it was wired with technology, so some level of glitching was expected. But
too trusting.
She couldn't help shake off the feeling that something was off. In an interview with CBC's Marketplace, she said, "It's almost as if the house is haunted." Sadly, in a way, she was right. It started when she began receiving messages from her ex. They mentioned things he should have never known, like what she had been wearing earlier or who she had been with when she walked through the front door. He'd been using every piece of smart tech in the house to watch her and remind her he was still there. On more than one occasion, he'd also sent her direct threats.
Get out of my house.
I need you to stop manipulating the lights.
I'm not touching the lights.
What is wrong? Just can you please leave me alone? You're not supposed to call me. I'm not bothering you.
I am going after the dogs. And then I'm going after you.
What? Someone who had spent her entire life controlling exactly how and when she was
that nigga look crazy.
Watched in her own home without ever.
She like crazy. No, I bet money she like that crazy shit at first. She over. Nah, I bet money she like that. She loved that crazy shit at first. She loved it. But it got to a point. She realized she ain't like that crazy shit for real. Motherfucker like crazy. They get crazy. They really find crazy.
Entirely.
He was able to monitor me, using our security surveillance cameras, even remotely, from thousands of miles away.
Ferial tried to shut the system down, but her partner had configured everything from the start and held all the logging credentials. Left with no other options, she contacted the local police and explained everything. Unfortunately, the response she received only deepened the sense that she had nowhere left to turn. The home wasn't in her name, and as far as the responding officers were concerned, that was where the matter ended. In the end...
Yeah, I'm confused. So she's living in a house that he owns? So why is she even talking like that?
Ferial realized that her only real way out was to leave the home behind entirely. She gathered her dogs and made her way to a local women's shelter.
Shelter? Isn't she rich? I thought she was a fucking actress.
2025, a woman named Brenda took her Ring doorbell camera off its mount and brought it inside her house to charge. It was something she did every few weeks. The camera ran on a battery, and recharging it was a routine part of owning one. But this time, she noticed something strange about the camera. The blue ring of light around the lens was on. On a Ring doorbell, that light only comes on when the camera is actively streaming, recording, or in the middle of a live two-way call with someone signed into the account. None of which should have been the case while the device was unmounted and sitting indoors. So Brenda figured out to see what was going on. And that's when she started hearing a voice coming through the doorbell speaker.
Shit like this made me fucking my fucking skin crawl. I don't like this shit. Huh? What?
Someone was speaking through the device in real time. And by the way they were laughing, it's clear that it wasn't someone who'd accidentally connected to the wrong camera. Whoever it was, they were taking their time terrorizing Brenda. Brenda pulled out her phone and managed to record only some of the interaction. But the voice went silent within a few seconds, and the blue light switched off shortly after. She later posted the video on her TikTok account. The comment section was flooded with people who couldn't believe how easily someone could gain access to a Ring device, along with others sharing similar experiences. One comment read, "I have cameras all over my house, and I have one in my bedroom. And a few days after I got them, I was sleeping and got woken up by someone snoring through my camera. And it wasn't no one in my house because I didn't log into anyone else's phone yet because I just set them up." By now,
so they went to sleep watching you.
Just like the Maxter cameras Rilana had set up in her living room, a doorbell camera is only as secure as the password protecting the account behind it. A weak or reused password is often all it takes. And if you look at every case in this video, this exact vulnerability keeps showing up, regardless of the brand, price, or how trusted the company is. So that's also what most likely happened here. Now, as I was researching this case, I found multiple people in the comments suggesting a different theory. They argued,
like, what do you mean I see you? Like, real shit, like, what?
With signal interference from someone else's baby monitor bleeding into her doorbell, and that the voice on the audio sounded a lot like a dad talking to his baby. This theory sounds plausible at first. Wireless devices do cross signals all the time.
I wish, but no.
Baby monitors are notorious for picking up audio from neighboring devices operating on similar radio frequencies. But Ring devices aren't analog based. They work by connecting to your home's Wi-Fi network and streaming audio and video through Ring's own encrypted servers. So any sound that comes through the doorbell speaker has to be sent through the Ring app first, by someone logged into the account. In other words, for a man's voice to come through Brenda's doorbell speaker clearly and in full conversation, someone had to be on the other end of the Ring app with full access to her device.